Hello and welcome to Simply Snarky, your podcast to keep up to date with everything Western District. We're your hosts, Megan and JJ, your Western District Vice Presidents of Membership, and we are so excited to be here today and bring this new podcast to life for all of you.
Hey everyone. So we really appreciate all of you joining us here for the first episode of Simply Snarky. We can't wait to share tons of fun and useful information with all of you throughout the year.
So to start this journey and kind of get us off to a wonderful start to the new year, we're going to be introducing our wonderful Joint Western District Council.
Hey everyone, my name's Nicole Gage, and the pronouns I go by are she, her, and hers. I am the Western District President this year, and my home chapter is the Nu Sigma chapter in Southern California. I really like to challenge myself, so I'm actually dual enrolled at two schools. At Cal Poly Pomona, I'm working towards my geology master's degree, and at Crafton Hills College, I'm working towards my fire technology associate's degree. I ran for district president because I wanted to continue giving back to Kappa Kappa Psi in a way I haven't before. So I've been colony president, chapter president, and I really wanted to give a shot at being district president, and I'm absolutely loving it. So if you are interested in the slightest in running for district office, just go for it. So far, my favorite Kappa Kappa Psi memory, at least one of them, is the installation ceremony for Nu Sigma 3 years ago. Because just seeing our colony become a chapter and seeing it become real was just a surreal moment I will never forget. And a fun fact about myself is when I was younger, I was a high-level competitive gymnast. And thanks for listening and supporting this podcast.
Hello, Western District. My name is Morgan. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm currently serving as your Tbs Sigma Western District President. I am from the Omicron chapter at the University of Utah. I've just graduated with my degrees in psychology and film and media arts with an emphasis in entertainment arts and engineering, which is a super long degree name, but it boils down to video game design. I decided to run for Western District President so that I could use my experience to offer the best possible support to my chapters. My goal is that the Western District can not only make it through this year's challenges, but thrive and grow. My favorite TBS memory would have to be visiting the Theta chapter of Kappa Kappa Psi. Our road trip did not exactly go according to plan in more ways than one, but we still had a lot of fun on our misadventures through Oregon. Go Beavs! And a fun fact about me is that I have very strong feelings about how many legs an animal should have. Snakes have way too few legs. I understand the science, but nothing should move that fast just by wiggling. On the other side, centipedes have far too many legs. I trip over my own feet sometimes, and I only have 2. But according to science, centipedes never trip even with all of those legs, which is absolutely ridiculous. I firmly believe that the correct number of legs is between 2 and 10.
Hello, friends. I am JJ Flowers. I use he, him, his pronouns. I am your Western District Vice President of Membership for Tbs Sigma. I am from the Omega chapter at the University of Arizona. I am a physiology major and a family studies major. My favorite memory from TBS is probably NatCon 2019. It was so fun walking to like joint start at 6 a.m. in the 100-degree weather in like a suit. Sounds terrible, but the whole day was so amazing. And that was 100% one of my favorite memories from my entire time in this organization. The next question is why I wanted to run for this position. I would say that it allows me to give back. And I think specifically membership, especially during COVID era, is really important. And I think that it's something that has a lot of potential. And I really wanted to be a part of that. And a part of assisting like my awesome VPMs. I love every single one of them. And they're all working their butts off. I really wanted to be the best assistant for them that I could. So I was really excited to run for this position. I'm really, really glad I did. A fun fact about me, the one I always use is that I can solve a Rubik's Cube in under a minute. Whether that's fun or not, I will let you decide. But yeah, that's me.
Hello, my name's Megan Ming. I am your KKSI Western District Vice President. I am from the Iota Kappa chapter at Boise State University, where my major is Information Technology Management and Supply Chain Management. A whole ton of business fun. My favorite memory from KKSI, probably also from NatCon, but mine specifically is from banquet, and then at the end we all sang, and it was beautiful to be in this giant room, hundreds and thousands of people, and we were all just singing because that's what we do. The reason I wanted to run for this position, I loved teaching new candidates on the chapter level and just like being really involved in the teaching about our fraternity. And I felt like I could do that really well on a district level and help more people teach better and learn more, because obviously we always want to keep learning about our history. And, brotherhood's cool too. We always got to be friends and love each other. And then my fun fact. See, I always struggle with fun facts. Well, my fun fact is that I picked up tuba 2.5 years ago now. Yeah, I want to say 2.5 years ago now. And I'm excited because I went from clarinet to tuba, and now I'm doing great, and I love it.
Hello, I'm Angela DiMatteo, she, her, and I'm the Kappa Kappa Psi Western District Secretary Treasurer from the Beta Omicron chapter at Arizona State University. My major is accounting, and I'm also pursuing a certificate in applied business data analytics. A fun fact about myself is that I am a huge board game enthusiast. My favorite KKSI memory was hosting WDC back in 2018. It was really stressful as a chapter treasurer, but I always think back at how much fun I had at the event, like helping out and also being a participant in it, and just what a great experience it was overall.
Hi everybody, my name is Silva Bloomquist. My pronouns are she, her. I am currently the TBS Western District Secretary Treasurer for this year. I am from the Alpha Chi chapter at Northern Arizona University, and I actually just recently graduated from NAU this past spring. I majored in astronomy and mathematics. I wanted the position that I was in, SecTresh specifically, because I wanted to find a way to not only give back to the organization that I've cared so much about, but also to be involved in a way that would benefit everybody and benefit all the chapters and everything. Before I was Secretary Treasurer, I was President, and then before that I was Sergeant at Arms. But I've had a lot of experience working closely with my chapter's treasurer, and I've also planned events such as State Days at NAU. So I've been able to kind of be on that front of planning fundraisers, planning profit shares, as well as kind of planning out how we need to work on things with our budget and our money and everything. So I figured that doing that on the district level would be fun, and being able to communicate with other officers across different chapters would also be an enjoyable experience, and also, again, give back to the organization that has given me so much. My favorite memory from TBS, man, I've had so many just different memories, but I guess probably one of the most general memories that I've had is just doing random food runs with siblings from both our brother chapter and sister chapter. It's always super fun to just kind of go out and just get food randomly at like midnight, or do like a really late Baskin Robbins run or Dairy Queen run. All of that is just super fun, and just getting to know people on a personal level too. Like when you do have those late night food runs, you always end up like sitting in the car for 6 hours until like 4 a.m. just kind of chilling, hanging out, talking about like having those deep life conversations. I think those kind of those are probably my favorite memories. And also just
going out into the wilderness with my siblings too sometimes, and doing like hikes and things like that. All those things are those are the memories that I'll keep well past college. And when I think about TBS, I'll think about my time in the council, as well as think about all the people I've met and the different conversations I've had with everybody I've met, either through the Western District or from my home chapters. A fun fact about myself, I'm actually currently learning Swedish, so I've really been enjoying kind of doing that, and just learning a new language is a fun time, and I have a lot of free time on my hands, so I've been having a good time with that.
Hi everyone, my name is Hannah Harrison. I use she, her, hers pronouns, and I am the Western District Vice President for Special Projects for Tau Beta Sigma. I am a life member of the Omicron chapter at the University of Utah, where I graduated with my degree in sociology this past summer. I wanted to be the Vice President for Special Projects because through my time in TBS, I've had such an amazing time with Focus on 5, service projects, social events, and I really wanted to be able to share all the knowledge and experience I've gained doing those things with other people and other chapters to be able to help everyone have amazing experiences like I've been able to have. My favorite TBS memory is really just any time that I was able to travel with my chapter, whether that was to like WDC, DLC, NatCon, SD4. It's always super fun to travel with sisters, from the many Dutch Bros trips to being stranded with Morgan, our district president, in Oregon for 2 days because her car broke down. There's just so many different experiences I've had there that's just been so fun. And then a fun fact about me is that I am from England. I was 10 years old when I moved to America, which was a big change at the time, but I'm so glad I moved here, and it's been really great. And that's everything about me.
Hey there, my name is Joey Cicino. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm the Western District Mel. I'm from the Iota Kappa chapter for Boise State University, and my major's a little long. It's GIM, which is Games, Interactive Media, and Mobile Technology, which is essentially just a game development major. I wanted the position I'm in currently because I've always found connections with other chapters to be very, very important, and they've always been very important to me personally. One of my friends, Cami, was one of the past Western District member-at-larges, and she was in my chapter. I saw all the work that she did, and I was very interested in it. Admittedly, I never really thought I was qualified for the position until this past year. I got really, really interested in it, and I finally was able to build the courage to finally run for it, and I got it. One of my favorite memories from any district event I've been to is probably NatCon. I think I had talked to a couple people online in passing, but I never thought I'd get a chance to meet them since they lived on the other side of the country. But getting to go to NatCon in 2019, I finally got to talk to a lot of those people and meet them, and I never thought I'd get a chance to do that before, and it was a really, really eye-opening experience, and I honestly think that was one more motivator for me to want to run for this position. And then a fun fact about me is that I figure skate. I haven't gotten to do it much recently, but I figure skated a lot when I was a kid. I did competitions and theater on ice performances and recitals, and it was a really good time, and I miss doing it, and I hope I can skate again. And yeah, that's it.
Hi everyone, my name is Nicole Pascha. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the Western District Publisher. I'm from the Gamma chapter of Kappa Kappa Psi at the University of Washington. Go Dogs! I'm a senior studying journalism, and since I'm studying journalism, Publisher was the perfect position to combine my love for storytelling as well as serving bands. I've also always wanted to be more involved at the district level and look forward to working with the district council. My favorite memory from KK Psi so far has been attending my very first district convention. Since that year, it was at Cal State University in Fresno, which is a 16-hour car ride from Seattle. I had a super fun road trip with my brothers and made new friends around the district as well. Finally, a fun fact about me is that I love photography and work as the photo editor for my school newspaper.
Hello everyone, my name is Alyssa Bruce and my pronouns are she, her. My chapter is Omega at the University of Arizona and I am currently studying neuroscience and psychology there. My position is the social media coordinator and I wanted to do this position because I am really excited to get to reach out to everybody so that everybody can see what our Western District is doing as a whole and so that we can all get together and know each other on a district level rather than just as chapters. That way our organization could be more unitized and just more loving and we have more friends overall, which I am very excited for since this is a new position. A favorite memory that I have of my chapter specifically was going through third degree and becoming an active member. Right after it, like becoming an active member, it just felt so surreal and amazing because putting all the hard work into process was worth it, and seeing the look on my mom's, his name is JJ, you're actually listening to his podcast right now, his face, it was just so touching to see how proud of me he was. But a fun fact about me is I actually just got a cat whose name is Sky. And she's the cutest thing ever, and I love her so much. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to the podcast.
Hello all, my name is Gordon, I go by he, him, his. I am the Western District Webmaster from the Data Chapter at Oregon State University, studying graphic design. My favorite memory from KKSci was definitely NatCon, because I got to travel to Oklahoma and actually see visit the hometown of the organization, and I got to meet a bunch of really cool people, both within the district and outside of our district. I also got to be a part of something that's really great, because I didn't know this until like the very last minute, but I got to be a delegate for one of the Western District chapters, which is pretty cool. And so that was my favorite part of KKSI, was going to NatCon, being a part of something greater and doing something that's greater than either the chapter or district levels. So that was my favorite memory, was just NatCon. And there's some other... I'm sure there are other events that I actually am quite fond of when it comes to making memories in KKSI and TBS. Why did I want to run for being a webmaster? Well, I actually didn't run for the webmaster position to begin with. I actually started out running for district publishing because I knew that was that was really my thing, because I served as our I served as our chapter publisher for a lot of years, and I felt that I could actually extend my skills and abilities and my experience from that to the district level. But I ended up being appointed as our district webmaster, and that was actually my second choice position. But that's still something that I really, really appreciate, because I am being brought up with many, many new challenges of being a Western District webmaster. I've been a webmaster for the data chapter before. I've actually had a couple years of experience at that, but my experience so far of being a district webmaster is pretty different than what it is at the chapter level, but I really like it because it just kind of broadens my experience to something greater and something more broader and outside of the chapter level. So that's something that's pretty important. That's quite important for me. One fun fact about me, back in the day when I was a sophomore and I think junior at OSU, I used to practice my clarinet so much that God, I would even just like practice all the way until like 3 or 4 in the morning on those those weekend nights where everybody's just all partying and I'm just like locked up in the music building just like practicing away. So that was fun times.
Hey, Western District. We are Eric,
And Charlene.
your governors.
Eric is from Iota Kappa at Boise State University.
And Charlene is from Lambda Alpha at University of California, Irvine. We are both life members and have been serving in this role together for several years.
In our professional lives, Eric is a Starbucks manager and has opened stores and trained many partners in the Treasure Valley of Idaho.
Charlene is a middle school history teacher in Northern California.
Our role as governors is to support the Western District Council in developing the programs, resources, and events that you, our membership, benefits from. We are also the communication bridge between the membership, the sponsors and directors of bands, and the National Council and National Leadership Team. We communicate primarily about national programs, events, resources, and opportunities that you all can benefit from. Governors are also tasked with reducing liability and educating students and directors and bands and sponsors on how to manage risk at events and make sure that health and safety protocols are in place. We hope that you've heard of Pivot by now.
We get the pleasure of working with our Tau Beta Sigma counterparts, the counselors, Sarah Cox and Alexis Holliday, to continue to develop student leaders of our organizations so that we can continue to prove that the best are in the West. We'd love to hear from our brothers and sisters across the district, and we are best reached by email at wdgovernor@kksci.org.
Thanks for tuning in to our podcast. We hope to hear from you with questions, comments, concerns, or to share something that you are really proud of in your chapter's journey and work. We'll be here for you. You can also contact us and find us on social media, but please send us an email if you have any need. Take care, stay safe, and we hope you all are doing well with whatever music you are making at this time.
Hello, West Side. My name is Alexis Holliday.
And I'm Sarah Cox.
And we are your Tau Beta Sigma Western District counselors. My name is Alexis Holliday, and I am an alumna from California State University Fresno, or Fresno State. Go Dogs. And that Eta Omega chapter is the chapter that I was heavily involved with while I was there, life member as well. And while I was at Fresno State, I studied criminology as an undergraduate, had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do with my life, and kind of, flitted around between 3 or 4 different majors and kind of settled on something that seemed interesting. And but while I was doing that work and pursuing that bachelor's degree, I fell in love with college life and helping college students and leadership opportunities within TBS and the band program. So then I ended up going on to get my master's degree in counseling and student services with a credential as well in counseling K through 12, with the ultimate goal of working at a university. So, currently I've been counselor since 2018, but throughout all this time since I graduated from Fresno State with my master's, I've worked in the university setting. And so currently I am an academic counselor for the College of Science and Math at Fresno State. I help students realize their goals and their both academic and career and social emotional goals. I work with them to craft out an academic plan that gets them to where they want to go, and I love helping students realize their potential. So that's what I do for a living, and I get to do it for the Sisters of the West as well. So I'll kick it over to you, Sarah.
Thanks. I just have to say, you have such a calm voice, and I love that this podcast is happening because it suits you.
Did I go into
So, yeah. So I am Sarah Cox. I studied music history at UCLA. So I was a sister at Epsilon Kappa. When I was at UCLA, I played clarinet in the marching band and eventually became the TA. After some time away from TBS, I became counselor last year in June of 2019, and it really has been a lot of fun to do this work. I am passionate about helping my community and strengthening not just communities, but helping people grow. As I was going to say in a little bit, I'm a teacher, and I love that I get to do those things with the sisters. It's just a little bit of a different challenge than my normal day as a fourth grade teacher. So currently I'm teaching online to a group of 9-year-olds, and I additionally teach rock band after school. We aren't really sure what that will look like this year, but at some point it will come back. Now, fun fact, both myself and Alexis have run in races. I am a triathlete and have completed 4 triathlons. I really enjoy swimming, and so I liked the challenge of completing a race, and I thought, let me try triathlons. What about you, Alexis?
I actually ran, so I'm not a triathlete. I'm scared of the bike, and swimming is crazy to me. So kudos to you for finishing one of those, because that's awesome. I ran in a triathlon relay where I did the running part. So I've done marathons and half marathons. I've done 3 full marathons, and the coolest thing about doing that was that I was able to travel around the continent, I guess. Like I did a few or a couple in California, and then I traveled all the way up to Vancouver, British Columbia, and ran a marathon up there, and it was gorgeous. And did, probably about 10 or 15 different half marathons throughout the state.
That's amazing.
It was really fun. I did it actually with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. So I would fundraise for blood cancer research, and people who would donate to me, obviously very, very minimal amount of that donation paid for my race entry, but it was all about supporting survivors and those who've passed on from blood cancers like leukemia and lymphoma. And so it added this extra layer of responsibility and passion. And it kind of came at a time in my life where I needed some guidance and something to sink my teeth into, and running was that for me. And I was never a active child like that. I did marching band, which was active, but I never ran.
Yeah.
So for me, it was, it was kind of twofold there, but I really enjoyed it. But I never did triathlons.
Hey, if we are ever in the same space again, I am so down to do a relay triathlon with you. I'll take care of the biking and the swimming.
Heck yeah, I got you. Oh, I mean,
one day.
Do you because you have to use a wetsuit, right?
Yes, I have my wetsuit. I look like a Fantastic Four character in it.
I mean, you should be a Fantastic Four character for Halloween in your wetsuit.
I have to be a zombie accountant because of a deal I made with Charlene. So maybe next year I can be a Fantastic Four person. Charlene said she'll be a boba tea. So as long as she does it, I'm down to still do that this year.
All right, Charlene, we got to keep you honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I don't just talking about races and marathoning and stuff like that kind of brought something up for me. And I know, the goal of this podcast is to really just introduce the West to your counselors and to your governors and to your district council. One of the things I always think about whenever I talk about races and running and just that entity, that concept, what kind of things did you learn about yourself while doing athletic things like that, especially if maybe you grew up not being so athletic?
Yeah, there's a lot of lessons that come up as you train for a race and compete in it. The first thing that comes to mind is I too was not, really active as a kid. I swam and played water polo, but I wasn't the top of the top tier. And so when I started getting into triathlons, it was a lot of work, and it was a very structured exercise program that I was doing. And it was probably one of the first times where I worked my butt off, but what I earned from it was the sweetest fruit, and it was so cool to be able to tell my students that year about it. That was my first year teaching, and to tell them hard work pays off. And there were days I was really frustrated and I didn't want to train, but by sticking to my training plan, I was able to beat the goals I had set for myself. I do want to share one more thing. I had started triathlons because of an ex, and they were very into running, and
Me too.
yeah, and so
but for sort of a different reason.
So for the last couple years, I am no longer with that person. I have been wanting to get back into triathlons, and most recently I completed the Pasadena Triathlon in March of this year, the week before life shut down. It was crazy. It was March 7th, and I had not trained correctly. I really I wanted to do it, but I also wasn't training to meet a running goal. And I had such a almost spiritual experience in that event of recognizing that these events are for me, and I do them because I like the feeling of completing these races. And it was so liberating to go to the race alone and be there for myself, doing everything for myself, and coming home and just knowing like I did that, and that's enough. And yeah, that was a really powerful experience. What about you, Alexis?
I definitely I started with Leukemia and Lymphoma Society because a friend of mine had done it as well and was like, hey, I know you're going through a bad time. I'd actually just gone through a very difficult breakup with somebody I'd been with for about 7 years, and just needed an outlet and just kind of a way to feel like I was, contributing in some way. And so I was like, I have never ran in my entire life. I mean, I did the mile in high school and that was fun, said no one. And so I was like, well, I guess I'll do it. So I'll start out with a half marathon. And the really cool thing about Leukemia and Lymphoma Society is they basically take coaches and they walk you literally from the couch to the finish line. And so I remember my very first training day, they give you a mentor, which is awesome. And so the very first day for me, so I'll just kind of preface, I tend to do things that I know I can do really well. So throughout my life, I've not really gone out of my comfort zone and done things that I might fail at, which, as you'll see at the end of the story, you'll figure out now I can do things that I can fail at. But I kind of had an ego about it. I was like, I can do this, this is fine, I can do it. But it was Fresno in August, and it was 105 at 6 o'clock at night when we're doing our first training run. And it was just literally run 2 minutes, walk 2 minutes. And I cried the entire time. It was so hard. And I was like, I can't do this. I'm panting. I'm just, it was a mess. And of course, my mentor, talked me up and, told me about his story and some of the things that he went through in order to get to where he was at, because he ran races before. That's how he was a mentor. And then, yeah, 3 months later, I crossed a finish line. I set, and so what I did was I entered into a physical activity of which I had absolutely no foundation whatsoever, in order to reach the goal that I set for myself, which was at the time, come in under 3 hours, do not stop, and do not give up, right? And so, but in order to do that, you have to put in the work every single day. And it was hard work that I was not good at. So I'm not used to that. I'm fortunate that musical talent kind of comes naturally to me. I've never really had to practice to play my instrument. I play electric bass, and school always came really natural to me. So this was really hard. It was a big kick in my face. Hey, yeah, you're entering something and you don't know how you're going to do it, but you have to show up every single day and you have to believe that the hard work you're going to put in will pay off. And I had no idea if it would, but I kid you not, you do the training runs, you never actually run a full half marathon or a half marathon before you actually run your race. So I'd never ran 13.1 miles before. I'd ran about 10, and that was my longest run. And I show up race day, and the goal was to run 8 minutes, walk 1, I think, or run 9 minutes and walk 1. And I had a timer and a watch, and it beeped when I was supposed to stop, and it beeped when I was supposed to go. And I did it the entire time. and my pace was the exact same, like pretty much every mile. It was like a flawless run for what I could do. And so I finished I crossed that finish line. I was like, oh my God, I actually like stuck with something that was really hard, that I was never actually really good at. And I finished, and I took that first race and just continued to build on that. And it was like putting in more hard work. I saw my body changing. I saw my mind changing. And I really think that's a metaphor right now for what we're all going through. Is this is unprecedented time. And, what we have to, like, especially our students in the district, like what we're going through moving forward is uncharted territory. It's unprecedented. It is something that we might not be good at. And because I don't know about you, virtual learning or virtual
exhausting.
I do. It's like you teach virtually, I counsel virtually. It's hard.
Yes.
I love people. I'm an extrovert. I gain my energy from others. And so I'm going into this time scared that I might not do so well. And it's like, I have to fall back on that feeling that I had when I crossed the finish line, that very first half marathon, where I literally stuck to a goal and finished it exactly how it's supposed to be. And it was through really hard work and dedication and showing up every day. And I want to do that for you, for myself, for you, Sarah, for our students, for our district council, for our students in the West. And I want everybody to understand that this isn't going to be easy, but you can do it because you can do hard things.
Yes, I agree with all of that. Thank you so much for sharing your experience and touching on what we're going through right now with quarantining and dealing with online school. So what you touched on kind of goes into some of the goals that we have as counselors. So I thought we could end our little segment by sharing goals that we have for our term. If you don't know, counselors serve for up to 6 years. So in the next 6 years, something that I really am passionate about is providing leadership development opportunities for actives across the West that will help them with chapter operations and improving maybe relationships in the chapter, but also leadership development that will ultimately help you in whatever area you work. I want to help strengthen our chapters so that those actives feel good about moving on from being an active and moving into their professional life. Alexis, what was a goal you wanted to share with the group?
I do have a goal, but I want to touch on what you said too. I think it's really important. TBS, like for us, like as adults, like it's obviously carried on into our day-to-day life as counselors, right? I graduated college never thinking that I would be counselor. I always thought it would be a cool gig, but never, never like thought about it, right? But every single day I use the tools that I gained from leadership positions in Tau Beta Sigma, from just being a active sister to being a band member, like all of that follows me, like, being just, helpful to others, being empathetic to others, understanding that everybody is showing up, trying to be the best version of themselves, giving people benefit of the doubt, talking with other people, like having goals and setting, timelines and the things that you learn in the groups and the professional development that we can provide and that you can provide yourselves, I think is really important. So I think, the goal that you shared is super important, because it's hard sometimes to see the forest beyond the trees, behind the trees, beyond the trees.
I think beyond. I could be wrong though.
And so that's why we're here, is to support you in that work, because it's really hard when you can't kind of like get out of your own way, and we can kind of see how it could end up for you because we're living proof of it, right?
Yes.
So your goal is really great because I think it spans, time. So it's not something that's going to be like problem solved this year, but it's like we're gonna start laying the groundwork right now to really like support and empower our actives to realize their potential and move forward with fortitude, which I know is a big kind of theme of this year, especially for Tau Beta Sigma 5th anniversary, and just for us in general. And that really does like kind of like lend itself to what one of my goals are, is specifically more like short term, is this year's not going to be easy. It's going to be challenging. And we really just want to work with our chapter members, both on an individual and a chapter level, just to foster responsibility and encourage our members just to reflect on, you know, what it takes to prioritize their health, their academic goals, the chapter health and well-being, the band's health and well-being, right? You know, because it's so important. I think a lot of us think that we, you know, it's like, well, we have a roof over our head, or we have, you know, a computer, we have internet, we have these things, but, you know, collectively as a society, we're going through a lot of stuff right now. And sometimes you might feel guilty for not having it all together, or feeling like you have it all together. And so we want to support you in the fact that that's okay. And I want us to work to instill, you know, coping skills, or just, you know, different things that you can do to empower yourself to just show up every day and know that you're supported, and that there's others going through kind of the same stuff. And so that's one of my goals for this year, is just to try to get us through this virtual year as best as we can, while still working on ourselves as human beings and sisters.
You said something just now that really hit a nerve for me, and it was empowering the district. And that is, I think, how I want us to end our little chat is Alexis and I are going to do our best to empower the district officers and the actives. And we hope if you want to participate in things, but you have questions, like, please reach out to us, reach out to the district officers. We are here to serve you, and we're here to make things better for you.
Absolutely. That was great. Yeah. And you can reach us at our respective emails. You can do alexis@tbsigma.org.
Or Sarah Cox at tbsigma.org.
Yeah. So, or just, I think, wdcounselor@tbsigma.org.
That works
we are
too.
here for you. You know, we've got all sorts of love and passion to give, and yeah, excited for this year, and excited to meet with you on a podcast, Sarah. This was cool. This is my very
This
first
was
podcast.
fun. Yeah. Honestly, I'd be so down to do this again.
Yeah, definitely. Megan and JJ, you got to have us back.
Yes, please. Okay.
All right. Have a good one, everybody.
We would like to thank all of our council members for their amazing work that they put in as officers, and all the amazing work they're going to continue doing throughout the school year. We also would like to thank all of you, our listeners, for joining us for the first episode of Simply Snarky. We can't wait to talk to you all soon. And as always, MLITB, and remember,
the best are in the West.